Welcome to the latest episode of Face to Face. My name is Michael Penn, and I am the executive editor of AGB Nippon, the Japan branch of Asia Gaming Brief. At the end of last year, I sat down with Frederic Winckler of Melco Resorts. We talked about the luxury market, which is his specialty, focusing on new developments and the trends that he finds to be most exciting. So please stick around for this short discussion. I think you'll find it to be very interesting. Asia is becoming sort of dominant in the luxury market. Why is that? Is it just people in Asia have more sort of free money to spend, or are there other reasons why that attracts them to this kind of product?
I think a few things. The first thing is it was dominant before, but it was much more difficult to see in the numbers because, again, depending on the brands, but about 2/3 of the purchases were made outside a continent or outside China. So they were made in Europe. They were made, some of them in Japan, actually. They were done in the travel areas, and that's gone. So now it's blatant and obvious that it happens. What's happening in China is the Chinese people buying. What's happening in Japan is the Japanese buying, and Korea, the Koreans buying. And all of that was muddled before with travel. That's become much cleaner now and much more obvious. The second thing is Asia has, how do we say that politely? Let's not say it politely. They've behaved properly with the virus because it's not their first one, whereas the States and Europe have become a kind of, it's a case for all the things not to do. So, you know, what this means is we've recovered much quicker, so governments and people behaving properly when they face a virus. So I think again, they've saved for the last 6 months, they've come out of that. The economy in China specifically is doing well. And again, you've got a much younger crowd of people. And it's always been like this. The Chinese customers were always younger than what we used to have in other countries because wealth came earlier there and more entrepreneurial. I think what's happened now is the money that was potentially going in other places has gone straight into luxury. So you have a new type of clients that have discovered luxury. And that's also because the luxury brands have discovered digital. Once again, everybody has been very cautious of digital because you don't control everything there. The images don't look as perfect as they do on the glossy magazine. But in 2020, people were thrown in the pool. There was just no option. So there's nothing else in digital. So people went there. So when you look, for example, at the impact of live streams, which was something most of the brands would never have looked at before, and they jumped into live streams and discovered how amazingly efficient that was. And again, super interesting to see how in that world, Asia and China specifically has gone way above anywhere else in the world, especially the US and Europe that are still lagging now. Very interesting how this sort of is a twist,
And I've read that, since Macau's been around, there's been a gradual movement more from the VIP market being dominant to more of a mass market over time. Is that causing any restructuring in the luxury market and the kind of products that can be offered? Does it mean there's less luxury, or does it mean that the mass audience is still buying these things?
There's differences in all the terms. So by VIP, in IR is really cool. What's junkets. Mass is really two parts. You've got the mass, and then you've got the premium mass. We're focused, Melco's focused on the premium mass and really being the leader and the creator of that segment. The real impact is premium mass and mass are much more profitable for integrated resorts because you control directly your clients. So that's a very interesting thing for us going forward. But what we see is the recovery is driven by premium mass, which is our focus, with less number of people, but people with more disposable income, people who do spend on luxury. So what we've seen, that's why I think we see, whereas we see probably 10 times less tourists that we would normally do, the numbers are driven by premium mass, and that's why we see in retail specifically luxury brands basically beating the numbers from last year. Is because the clients that come are good clients and they have that disposable income to spend. They can't spend any more in Hong Kong if they wanted to come to Hong Kong, so they're spending it in Macau. So I think what we'll see in Macau specifically will be a much faster recovery of in the luxury segment for everything, whether it's obviously gaming, whether it's the luxury, whether it's F&B, that's going to be the area of growth going forward. And it is a good thing because it's a much more profitable segment.
Okay, and last question for this short interview is looking forward now, as we're entering 2021 and the lifting of presumably over the course of the year of the coronavirus crisis. Is there something in the luxury market that's exciting you, that's making you, that's really kind of captured your own imagination?
There's plenty of things, but you've got a number of movements that are super interesting to watch. The first key thing is digital, and I think that when I said, we've been thrown 10 years ahead, the digital tools, digital segments, the explosion of that is critical. And it's critical that, all the rest of the world, including IRs, are able to move in that direction. Because it's a key way of keeping a relationship with a client. It's a key way for our clients to have an easier way of reaching out with us, dealing with us, for them to buy. So that's been the absolute key thing. The second thing that's here to watch is, I think the movement of brands doing things specifically for Asia, or actually for Asia before they do it for the rest of the world, is here to stay. And that's really a recognition that Asia has become the dominant force in luxury, and that the rest of the brands are creating from Paris or Rome ready for here. And that's extremely interesting to watch. And the third thing that's a completely new thing that was there, but luxury brands never wanted to realize it, is the sustainability. And with sustainability comes what materials you use, but also secondhand, or let's call it pre-owned, as they call it in luxury. So how you can use something that was owned before, how people recycle cloth to make new clothes. So there's going to be a lot of things to watch in that segment, because I think that's one thing that people are going to be asking for.
All right. Well, Frederic Winckler of Melco, thank you for joining Face to Face today. It's always a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Michael.